When you're pushed out of your own company, when the world laughs at your vision, when life humiliates you, what do? Do you quit or do you fight back? Steve Jobs faced that storm, and out of it he built the power that changed the world. Today, we're going to dive deep into those moments, not the glamorous ones, but the darkest lessons, because it's in those shadows where strength is born. This is Time Ito Men EOP. Betrayal. It cuts deeper than failure. Failure can be explained, failure can be analyzed, failure can even be forgiven. But betrayal, that's personal. It is the moment when the people you trusted most, the people you built with, the people you gave your life's energy to, turn their back on you. And that's exactly what happened to me. Imagine building something from scratch. Imagine pouring every ounce of your soul, every sleepless night, every idea that kept you awake at 3 a.m. into a dream. You watch it grow, you watch it breathe, you watch it touch people's lives. And then, suddenly, you're told you don't belong here anymore. You're fired from the company you created, from the family you thought you built. That's betrayal. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can collapse under the weight of it, or you can use it as fuel. When I was forced out of Apple in 1985, it was humiliating. The newspapers laughed. The industry mocked me. I became the punchline of the very world I helped shape. Most people thought I was finished. They thought I would disappear, fade into obscurity, and be remembered only as the guy who got lucky with a garage startup. And I could have done exactly that. I could have run away, blamed others, told the world how unfair it all was. But that's not what men do. That's not what leaders do. A man doesn't cry for pity. A man takes betrayal, and he sharpens it into a weapon. I remember walking away from Apple with nothing but an idea that maybe, just maybe, I could start again. And so I did. I created NextT. I invested in Pixar, projects that, at the time, people dismissed as failures waiting to happen. But betrayal gave me something I never had before. It gave me freedom. When the world takes everything from you, you stop fearing loss. When you've already been stripped of the thing you love most, you realize you have nothing left to protect. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you man up. Because here's the truth most people don't want to admit: betrayal is a gift. It forces you to confront yourself. It strips away your illusions about loyalty, about comfort, about guarantees. It leaves you naked, exposed, and raw. And in that rawness you find who you really are. When Apple threw me out, I had to ask myself, was I only the guy who founded Apple? Or was I someone more? Did my identity depend on a company? Or was there something deeper inside me that no board of directors could ever take away? That was the crucible. That was the fire that forged me into something harder, sharper, more relentless. Most of you watching this right now, you've felt betrayal. Maybe a friend abandoned you when you needed them most. Maybe someone you loved walked away without looking back. Maybe a business partner turned on you when money got involved. And in that moment, it broke you. It made you bitter. It made you cautious, afraid to trust again, afraid to dream again. But I'm here to tell you, you're looking at it wrong. Betrayal is not the end of the story. Betrayal is the start of transformation. It is the universe testing you, asking, will you fold, or will you fight? Will you become weaker, or will you become stronger? Think about it. If no one ever betrayed me, there would be no NextT. Without Next, there would be no Mac OS as you know it today. If no one had pushed me out, I wouldn't have gone to Pixar. I wouldn't have helped pioneer the technology that made Toy Story possible. I wouldn't have seen animation reborn for a new generation. Every betrayal was fuel. Every rejection was gasoline on the fire. Without betrayal, I might have stayed comfortable, safe, predictable. But because of betrayal, I became unstoppable. And that is the lesson. If you want to man up, Stop running from betrayal. Stop whining about it. Stop replaying it in your mind like a victim. Instead, thank it. Use it. Let it burn away your weakness. Let it reveal who your real friends are. Let it remind you that the world owes you nothing, and that everything you want, you will have to fight for. When people betray you, they think they're cutting you down. What they don't realize is that they're handing you the sword you will use to rise again. Comfort. It's the most dangerous addiction of our time. People think the biggest enemy to success is failure. No, the real enemy is comfort. Failure at least teaches you something. Comfort teaches you nothing. Comfort is silent, invisible, and deadly. It whispers to you every day, stay here, don't push, don't risk, don't stretch. And most people listen. They settle for a paycheck that doesn't challenge them, for relationships that don't inspire them, for routines that slowly suffocate them. They think they're safe. But what they don't realize is that safety is a trap. When I started Apple in that garage with Woz, we didn't have comfort. We had chaos. We had wires everywhere, parts scattered across the floor, barely any money, and no certainty that any of it would work. But that discomfort was the gift. That pressure was the fuel. It forced us to innovate, to think differently, to break the rules. Comfort never would have given birth to Apple. Discomfort did. Look around today. People want easy success. They want quick results, instant gratification, fast fame. They think they can scroll their way to greatness. But nothing great was ever built from comfort. Apple wasn't built on comfort. Pixar wasn't built on comfort. The iPhone wasn't born in a boardroom where everyone was relaxed and satisfied. It was born from obsession, from sleepless nights, from the relentless demand for something better. Comfort never produces revolution. I remember walking into meetings and pushing the team harder than they wanted to go. People hated me for it. They thought I was being unreasonable. They thought I was being too intense, too demanding. But I knew what they didn't. That growth only comes through discomfort. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're comfortable, you're decaying. I wasn't interested in making my team comfortable. I was interested in making them legendary. And that meant pushing, challenging, breaking their limits until they discovered new ones. Most of you watching this right now, you want success. You want to build something. You want to change your life. But you're addicted to comfort. You want success without sacrifice. You want the prize without the pain. You want growth while clinging to your comfort zone. And that's not how it works. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're trading your future for a moment of ease. Every time you pick convenience over discipline, you're feeding the part of you that wants to stay small. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something that scared you? When was the last time you walked into a situation where you weren't sure you could succeed? When was the last time you pushed yourself so far that your body wanted to quit, but your spirit wouldn't let you? That's where growth happens. That's where greatness is born. The problem is, most people never go there. They never dare. They choose comfort, and then they wonder why life feels empty. When I came back to Apple in 1997, the company was dying, and you know why? Because it had gotten comfortable. It had too many products, too many committees, too many people protecting their little piece of the empire instead of risking everything for the future. Apple had fallen asleep. It had chosen safety over vision, and that's why it was bleeding. My job was simple: wake it up. Cut away the comfort. Strip it down to the essentials. And force it back into the fire of innovation. That was the only way forward. And isn't that the same for your life? You've built these walls of comfort around yourself, telling yourself you're okay, you're safe, you're fine. But you're not fine. You're stuck. You're stagnant. You're slowly killing your potential. And deep down, you know it. That nagging voice inside you that says, "There's more in you, but you're wasting it." That's the truth you're running from. And the longer you stay comfortable, the louder that voice will get. The harsh reality is this: if you want to man up, you have to learn to walk into discomfort willingly. You have to choose the hard path when everyone else is choosing the easy one. You have to wake up early when your body craves more sleep. You have to say no to distractions when your mind craves dopamine. You have to risk rejection, humiliation, and failure when your ego craves safety. That is what separates the ones who make history from the ones who are forgotten. Comfort makes you soft. Discomfort makes you sharp. Comfort makes you passive. Discomfort makes you powerful. Comfort keeps you dreaming small. Discomfort forces you to dream big. Obsession, discipline. These are not just words. They are the foundation of every masterpiece, every breakthrough, every revolution that has ever changed the world. People look at Apple today and they see the products, the sleek designs, the devices that became part of their lives. But what they don't see is the obsession behind it. The endless nights of staring at a single detail until it was perfect. The relentless discipline of rejecting 1,000 good ideas so that one great idea could shine. When I was building Apple, I wasn't interested in average. I wasn't interested in good enough. Good enough is for people who settle. Good enough is for people who never change the world. I was obsessed with perfection. I wanted every corner of the product, every pixel of the screen, every line of code to breathe excellence. And that obsession made people uncomfortable. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was demanding the impossible. But that's the point. Discipline without obsession is routine. Obsession without discipline is chaos. But together they forge identity. I wasn't obsessed with computers. I was obsessed with beauty, with simplicity, with elegance, with the idea that technology could be so intuitive, so human, that it would feel like magic in your hands. That obsession drove me, and discipline kept me grounded. Because obsession gives you vision, but discipline gives you execution. Without discipline, obsession is just a dream. Without obsession, discipline is just labor. But when you bring them together, you find power. Most people will never understand what it means to be truly obsessed. They flirt with goals. They play around with dreams. They want results, but they don't want the sacrifice. They dip their toes in the water, but they're afraid to dive in. Obsession doesn't work like that. Obsession consumes you. It takes over your thoughts. It wakes you up at night. It demands every ounce of your being. And only when you give yourself fully to it, with the discipline to see it through, do you begin to discover who you really are. When I pushed the team to create the first Macintosh, they thought I was insane. I wanted it to speak. I wanted it to smile at you when you turned it on. I wanted it to be not just a machine, but a companion. Nobody had ever done that before. The engineers were frustrated. The designers were exhausted. People wanted to give up, but I didn't let them. Because I knew that obsession without discipline would destroy us, but discipline fueled by obsession would create something the world had never seen. And it did. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is repetition, routine, commitment. It is waking up every day and choosing the hard road again and again. It is saying no to distraction, no to shortcuts, no to comfort. Discipline is boring, but it is the furnace where greatness is forged. And obsession is the fire that keeps that furnace burning. Without the fire, discipline feels like punishment. Without discipline, the fire burns out of control. Together, they become unstoppable. Ask yourself, what are you obsessed with? Not what you like, not what you're interested in, not what you do when it's convenient. What are you willing to suffer for? What keeps you up at night because you can't stop thinking about it? What would you keep doing, even if the world laughed at you? That's your obsession. And once you find it, you need discipline to mold it, to channel it, to bring it into reality. When I was fired from Apple, I didn't stop. My obsession didn't disappear because my position was gone. I poured it into NXT. I poured it into Pixar. I am obsessed over new ideas, new ways to push technology, new ways to tell stories. And I disciplined myself to keep showing up, to keep building, to keep refining, even when it seemed like nobody cared. That's why when I returned to Apple, I wasn't the same person. My obsession had sharpened. My discipline has strengthened. My identity had been forged in the fire. And that's what obsession and discipline do. They shape you. They define you. They carve away the weakness, the laziness, the excuses. They leave behind a version of you that is unrecognizable from who you were before. When people say, "Steve, how did you do it?" the answer is simple: I was obsessed. And I was disciplined. And those two things, more than anything else, created who I became: death. Most people fear it. Most people hide from it. They distract themselves. They avoid the thought. They live as if life will go on forever. But here's the truth: nothing clarifies life more than death. When you know your time is limited, when you know every day could be your last, suddenly everything unimportant falls away. Suddenly, you see clearly. And for me, that clarity changed everything. I used to think I had all the time in the world. When you're young, you believe life is endless. You think you can waste years chasing things that don't matter, trying to impress people who don't care, living someone else's dream. But then one day, you're told you're sick. You may not have much time left. And in that instant, your entire perspective shifts. That's what happened when I was diagnosed with cancer. I had spent my life obsessed with building, creating, innovating. But it was in facing death that I finally understood the urgency of living. I remember lying in that hospital room after the diagnosis, and for the first time, my mind wasn't on products or strategy or markets. It was on time. Time, the one thing you can never buy back. And I realized that so much of what we think matters: ego, pride, appearances, possessions. None of it matters in the face of death. The only thing that matters is whether you lived true to yourself, whether you chased what you loved, whether you dared to follow your vision. Death strips life down to its essentials. It removes the noise. It removes the excuses. When I stood on that stage at Stanford and told those graduates, "Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose," it wasn't just a speech. It was the raw truth of what I had lived. Death reminds us that we have nothing to lose, because one day, everything we think we own, everything we cling to, will be gone. The money, the titles, the recognition, none of it will follow you. The only thing that remains is the impact you leave behind and the courage with which you lived. Most people live as if they're immortal. They procrastinate on their dreams. They delay their passions. They put off the things they know they should do because they believe there will always be more time. But they won't. One day, you will wake up and there won't be another chance. There won't be another tomorrow. And the question you'll be left with is, did you live or did you just exist? Facing death forces you to answer that question now, while you still can. When I returned to Apple, death was already walking beside me. I knew my time was limited, and that urgency shaped every decision I made. I didn't want to waste years on mediocrity. I didn't want Apple to release products that were merely good. I wanted excellence. I wanted beauty. I wanted to pour every ounce of vision into the world while I still had the chance. That's why we built the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. I wasn't just building devices. I was building a legacy, something that would outlive me, because death was whispering in my ear, reminding me your time is short, do not waste it. And you, sitting here, listening to this, you need that reminder too. You don't have to be diagnosed with cancer to wake up. You don't need tragedy to shake you. You can choose right now to live as if your time is limited. Because it is. Every day that passes is a day you will never get back. Every hour wasted on things that don't matter is stolen from the life you could be living. Death is not the enemy. Wasted life is the enemy. When you face death, clarity comes. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop chasing approval. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You start focusing on the few things that truly matter. Your vision, your purpose, your loved ones, your work that makes a difference. And once you see that clearly, you can never go back to sleepwalking through life. So here is the power hidden in death. It is not just an ending, it is a teacher. It teaches you urgency. It teaches you focus. It teaches you courage. Because when you know you will die, you finally learn how to live. So what does it mean to man up? It means taking betrayal and turning it into fire. It means rejecting comfort, because comfort is the slow death of potential. It means embracing obsession and discipline until they carve out the truest version of who you are. And it means remembering every single day that your time is limited, that death is closer than you think, and that urgency is the only way to live fully. I was not the smartest. I was not the strongest. I was not even the most logical. But I was willing to hurt, to bleed, to sacrifice, to face humiliation and darkness, because I believed in the vision more than I believed in comfort. That's what forged Apple. That's what forged me. And that's what will forge you. You don't need the world's approval. You don't need permission. What you need is courage. The courage to be betrayed and keep moving. The courage to step into discomfort and grow. The courage to let obsession and discipline shape you into something unbreakable. And the courage to look death in the face and say, I will not waste this life. Because in the end, it's not about time to man up. It's about realizing that time is running out. And the only choice you have left is to man up now.